Chewing time with Korean movies.
Democracy grows on blood. The spirit of past spring, which is seized by smoke gunpowder, became the roots of freedom of people in Czech Republic, and sacrifice of Jan Palau was emblem of total freedom. In 1968, public of Czech wanted to have more freedom as a human being. They really wanted to have beautiful spring of Czech and were the blooming flower of democracy. But interruption from Soviet made them frustrated. The young Jan Palau protested the situation by sacrificing himself in Warsaw Square. Even the passion which went for freedom was seized by out of power. The spirit of Czech Republic and the soul of Jan Palau were alive and hidden as a small seed of fire. In the warm breeze blowing on the territory of Czech after 20 years, the fire seed makes huge fire of democracy. The passion for freedom in May 1980 was so hot in Gwangju, but the news was controlled and the city itself was blocked by military. So, no one knew what really happened in Gwangju. Most Koreans heard about the news that the city was in chaos by unknown rioters. So, they are just waiting for the quick measure of governments. Many Koreans are angry at communists who put the city into dangerous disturbance. But the news from foreign country were totally different from the fact we knew. The soldiers who should protect the citizens fully harmed the public, and the passion for real freedom was about to be seized by powerful military. The horrible news could be reported by true reporter and one brave man. The letters written by Alexander Dubček awakened the Western humanists to quicken the democracy in Czech Republic. And the reports of Germany's reporter Eugen Hinch-Peter make the Korean citizens realize the fact and quicken the true democracy in Korea. Being treated for severe illness, his wife leaves, and months of him live with his daughter and drive a taxi. Even though the passion for the true democracy was so high in 1980, he doesn't like it. The open demonstration of the university students in Seoul made many students hesitate to go out and want to escape from the noises and the tear gas. It means the losing of a customer for a taxi driver. Mansop, who is burdened with a month of overdue monthly rent, had to Gwangju with a foreign customer who said he would pay 100,000 won when he returns in the evening. When they arrive at the entrance to Gwangju, it is blocked with a barricade, and some soldiers ask them to return to Seoul and say Gwangju is in chaos because of unknown rioters. They receive permission to enter Gwangju by telling the soldier that the foreigner left the important document in Gwangju and he is in big trouble. The streets of Gwangju are almost empty. It looks strange with many pieces, stones, and bricks scattered on the street. The wind is blowing off a lot of leaflets like a fallen leaf. The streets are filled with numerous placards with slogans to win democracy and overthrow dictatorship. The foreigners eagerly recording the picture of the street. Mansop recognized that the foreigner is not a businessman, but a reporter, and he feels there is something dangerous happening in the city, Gwangju. He wants to return to Seoul, but he can't because he made a deal about the option no Gwangju, no money. And because he's a taxi driver who should go anywhere and anytime when a customer asks. The streets are nearly empty without people, and they drive the taxi here and there to take pictures to know what really happened in Gwangju. In a truck with many young men passed by the taxi. The reporter Peter wanted to interview them. The young man on the truck welcomed the reporter with their heart. They really wanted to have an interview with any reporter. Peter get on the truck and make an interview with the young guys and announced that they are going to the hospital. Peter asked Mansop to follow them to the hospital. Feeling something dangerous, Mansop wants to escape from the situation, so he turns his car and runs away. But eventually he returned to the hospital with a mother who is struggling to catch a taxi to go to hospital. Mansop couldn't neglect the desperate mother. The Red Cross hospital is crowded with many injured patients and busy doctors and nurses. Mansop sees some taxi drivers reject one reporter's request for ride, blaming that journalists do not report the truth of Gwangju. He also sees an urgent taxi coming into a hospital with a seriously injured man. Now, he drives a taxi accompanied by reporter Hint Peter and interpreter J.S.A to find the truth of Gwangju. Mansop finds the gas station providing gas to taxi for free because the taxi drivers are struggling in face of danger to save the injured. Gwangju station is crowded with many citizens, and they cheer each other up to win real democracy. They share rice bowls and join in the Korean folk music Nong-ak. The scene looks somewhat like a festival, or partial look resolution as like they are preparing a battle. They go up to the roof of the tallest building to find what is happening and to record the scenes. They see a terrible view from the top of the building. Soldiers mercilessly beat and kick citizens. They feel the intention of murder in the soldiers. Their violence is so cruel that some citizens seem to have already been murdered when they are taken by soldiers. It's time to go back to Seoul. J.S.A pleaded with Peter to tell the truth of Gwangju, and Peter promised the truth will be broadcast all over the world soon. But the car suddenly broke, so they should stay one more day in Gwangju. When they are in trouble, some taxi drivers come and help them. They stay at Tassel's house and are treated well. That night, they hear the thunder-like sound outside. and they find that there are some big explosion at the Gwangju broadcast building. Flames are rising in the dark evening, and citizens are running in panic. The headlight beams from military trucks are passing by in a big and long parade. When they are gathering used material in the chaos, they are found by a group of soldiers in plain clothes. They are chasing them, holding guns and clubs. Jeshuk shouts at them to run away at the critical moment that he is taken by the cruel soldier. When they come back to Castle House, Manso found that all communication lines are cut from outside. Gwangju is totally isolated, and the curfew hours is set at 9 p.m. Manso feels restless because he cannot call his daughter and has no way to go back home. In tears, Manso talks about his sad family story, and Peter understands it with his mind. He understands Manso, who cannot take a risk, for his daughter who is left alone. When Manso leaves the next early morning, Peter does not dissuade him. Castle gives Manso the car number plate because all the cars with the sold number plates are wanted by the military. Castle also gives him a map which shows a secret path to another city. Manso arrives at Suncheon and can give a call to his daughter. He buys a pair of new shoes for the daughter. He has breakfast in the restaurant. Even though Suncheon City is near Gwangju, they don't know the truth of Gwangju because all uses are controlled by military, and some rumors about Gwangju are too cruel to believe. Manso turns around to Gwangju, feeling tears rising in his heart. Manso returned to Red Cross Hospital. It's no different from hell there. The hospital is full of seriously injured citizens and blood-stained bodies. Heartbroken mothers are crying over the bodies, and doctors and nurses are running here and there. Disappointed Peter and Tassel are sitting on the floor in grief. The chopper Jesse is covered with blood and lying under the sheet. Manso is grief. Urged Peter to record the scene of Gwangju and tell the truth to the world. Soldiers are firing aimed shot at the protesters. The protesters shot injured or to death on the ground. And helpers to the injured are also shot to death. The cruel soldiers shoot even the helper, who raised the white flag to save the injured. They are committing acts of brutality of hunting the citizens. Manso and other taxi drivers take risk of their lives to save the injured by using taxis as shields. Peter also struggled to record the brutality of the military in Gwangju. Manso and Peter should leave Gwangju because soldiers in plain clothes are chasing them. All routes from Gwangju to other cities are closed, even though Manso chooses the secret path to another city. The road is also closed by soldiers. The soldiers ordered them to get out of the car, and they sat everywhere in the car. And one army sergeant opened the car trunk and is checking in detail. They are almost in despair. Surprisingly, even though he finds the sole car number plate in the trunk, he let them through as if there is nothing special. Some military jeep chases taxi, but several Gwanghae taxis risked their life to stop him. Hinch Peter, who left for Japan secretly, informed the world of Gwanghae's tragedy. Most Koreans also finally learned about the truth of Gwangju. Death 163, missing 166, deaths from injury 101, injured people 3,139, arrest and detention 1,589. Gwangju suffered huge sacrifice and sorrow due to the atrocity of partial forces in May 1980. Gumnamro in Gwangju was covered with blood from citizens in May 1980. But sadly, most Koreans did not know about the horrible tragedy at all because all journals made fake news about Gwangju. The military regime controlled all media. His strengths monitoring publics. Actually, before 1980, Koreans oppressed under dictatorship, whether they perceive or not. One true reporter and a brave taxi driver awakened the passion for true democracy in Korea. The martial law government lost their justification. The tragedy of Gwangju became great foundation of true democracy in Korea. A true story, just like a true story. In fact, many gas stations in Gwangju provide gas to taxi free of charge. And despite confusion, there is no looting, arson, and theft. In fact, the sergeant let him go, even though he found a gun inside the car. Hinch Peter was always missing his friend, the taxi driver, and he wanted to be buried in Gwangju when he died.